Cleaning Nation. Good to see those of you listening to the recording, i.e. the less cool, sorry folks, and the vast minority that are with us live. I think Lindsay's got some questions people have asked before, so we're going to start with those. If you were here live and have a question you want me to answer right now, and if it, enough of the why are you so good looking and how did you get to be so charming, I appreciate those questions, but we just don't have time. So if you're here live, Lindsay's working the chat, so she will respond to you and get you on. But until then, let's start with the and if you want to send a question for the future, support@growmycleaningcompany.com. Or I think if you're part of our Facebook group, which is where we stream this live, you can maybe tag Lindsay in a question there and she'll get you sorted. So that said, who needs some help? What do we got, Lindsay?
All right. First off, we got Ruth via email, and she asked, how do I break into B2B or business to business services where another cleaning company is servicing? This is what she hears a lot. She says, management tells me that, hey, we have someone already. What is the possibility of breakthrough in such a situation?
Great question. Is this Ruth? Is the lady's name? Hey, Ruth, thanks for your question. So lots to think about. First and foremost, the way I roll and would coach you all to do, including my new friend Ruth, is I'm not looking to find people that don't want what I have and like convince them, so to speak. I'm looking to find people that have pain and help them solve it. So if I went somewhere and they're like, I've already got a cleaning service, I'm like, do you like them? Are you happy? And they go, yeah, we love them. Then I have nothing to say about that. I'm going to put it in my file and go, great. I'm sure it won't be with you, but I've found sometimes people are happy today, but in 3 or 6 or 9 months, things change. Would you like me to give you a call 4 or 5 months? Just check in? Maybe, or I might just do it without even asking. But my goal is not to find people that are happy and try and switch them, because why would they switch? There's really only one reason, and most won't. But if they would, it's just price. And then, now I'm in a price war, and that's not even a battle I want to get. And do I want a client who would slit my throat for a nickel down I don't want any part of it. So I would rather you spend your time going, hi, I want to buy my services. Hi, I want to buy my services. Hi, I want to buy my services to 100 people. And then the 2 or 3 or 5 that go, yes, I'm interested in your service. Spend all of your time there, as opposed to, how do you want my services? No. And spending a bunch of time with that guy or gal. And little spoiler alert, that's all marketing is. Postcards, telemarketing, events, live stuff. What else? I mean, Facebook groups, online marketing, ads, Google, billboards, cars wrapped, all of it is just, hi, want to buy my service? Hi, you're interested in this? Hi, interested in this? And then the people that raise their hand, that's who we spend our time focusing on. So short answer, I would not try and convince a happy person with their cleaning service to buy my crap. I would find someone unhappy with their cleaning service and try and make their life better. Hopefully that makes your world a little easier, a little faster. And I promise you'll enjoy sales and marketing a lot more, Ruth, if you're dealing with people that want your stuff and trying to help them, than if you're trying to like arm wrestle people that don't want your crap and don't wanting it.
Excellent. All right.
Lindsay gave me an excellent. I'm feeling good. Usually she suck and curses at me. So that was a good one. She didn't curse. I'm doing okay.
Yeah, we got a lot of cursing on these lives. I got to bleep myself out when I edit. All right. Melissa Ferranti. You can tell I'm not Italian. She says, I have a few clients I need to raise prices for. These clients have had some unfortunate circumstances in life lately, which is why I've waited to raise their price. How would you suggest handling this dilemma? Should I wait a few months so I'm not piling more on them? Or is this something I just need to get over and stop feeling guilty about?
Well, first of all, you said Melissa?
Yes, Melissa.
First of all, Melissa, I love your heart and your sweetness and wanting to take care of your people. That said, I think a lot of times we own too much of our own client circumstance. So we have that with our own clients. There's people I talk to that are, when they get to us, they're super broke and they're on the verge of bankruptcy and their company's a mess. And, we charge money for our services. Lindsay gets paid and I get paid and everybody gets, it costs a lot to do all this stuff. And it breaks my heart because I just want to help everybody, but our time is limited, right? We only have a certain amount of resources, and the person that's on the verge of bankruptcy, A, couldn't pay anything. So now we got to take money from other people to kind of support that. B, they're going to need 10 times the support that we can give, that the other person is going to need that did pay. And C, if they don't pay, they don't value it. So I had to make a very intentional effort to go, I can't help everybody, right? With all the money in the world, nobody can help everybody, right? The biggest companies in the world what is it? Tesla, most valuable Apple. Everyone doesn't have a Tesla. Everyone doesn't have an Apple, right? They can't, even though if they can't help everybody, how in God's green can I help everybody, right? So I would encourage you, Melissa, not to take ownership for how they got where they're at, right? Like you're not creating that. You just showed up there, right? That's what I had to learn. I didn't create this person. I'm here to help. I'm here to fix this thing, but I didn't create the circumstance they're in. So don't own a circumstance that's not yours to own, first and foremost. Second of all, because you know you're going to have to make decisions based on, I have limited resources. There's only so many people you can hire, only so many people you can put on your schedule. You know, if you don't believe me, if I gave you 100 clients today that you got to start tomorrow, you'd go out of business. You'd crumble. You can't handle it. So there is a limit to the clients that you can take. So we can pick by hard stories. Well, this person's a mess and broken and whatever and can't pay. That's great. But how many people are we going to be able to serve long-term overall? Virtually none, because now we're going to go out of business, right? So that's not going to help. Or we can pick based on those who pay. And it's not fair. I'll give you that. But if there's limited resources and unlimited demand, we have to pick somehow, right? So money is a great way to go. I am voting, you know, I've spent time to earn this money and I'm going to give some of it to you. I obviously value you. So I would just encourage you to free yourself from, especially, you know, if we're selling life-saving drugs, that's a whole different kettle of fish, right? If I had a drug that saved lives and it cost me a nickel, I'm not judging anyone else how they run their business. I'm just saying for me, that would be a different moral quandary. Both coaching and cleaning are luxury services, right? Nobody needs those things. They're just not needed. They're wildly important, but not needed. So you just got to be okay with, you have a finite amount of time and attention. You're going to give it to somebody. And if you give it to somebody that doesn't pay, you're going to take it away from someone that would be willing to pay. And we know the person that is willing to pay values it because they're willing to pay. The person that is unable or unwilling to pay, maybe they're interested, maybe they're not. But if you believe in the Bible or just common sense, your heart is where your treasure is, right? And when people give you a little bit of their treasure, they give you a little bit of their heart. They won't do that. You know, it's like, who's more committed to your house being clean, me or you, right? And they're not willing to pay, it's you. So give yourself permission, run a clean business, charge people the right amount. And no offense to our kind clients, but if they can't afford $337, they can't afford $292, right? Like if your $40 price increase or whatever it is going to put them over the edge, you weren't the problem, I can assure you. So hopefully that gives you, if it helps, Melissa, I give you my permission. You raise prices. You're not a bad person. You're a business person. And most of the time they'll pay. If they don't, most of the time, like, I totally get it, not be jerks. And if they are jerks, don't feel bad that you tried to charge a living wage for somebody and they treated you poorly. Now you're like, great, I didn't want to serve you anyway. So it's not even about the right answer. You have permission. It's the right thing. I promise. Go charge right. It's about you just giving yourself permission and feeling good about it. So feel free to take this permission that I'm giving you, which is worthless, and give it to yourself and go, I can charge what I want. And it's okay if they say yes. And it's okay if you say no. You get to pick who you work with and for how much.
That was some excellent mindset coaching right there, Mike. I won't tell Suzanne, but no,
it would have been funnier if you went, meh, I could have done better. I'm like, oh, I tried hard.
Nah, not as good as Suzanne, but we'll let it pass.
Yeah. Melissa, if Lindsay's going, Melissa, give me a call offline. I'll give you an actual answer. Mike, that was garbage. Here's my email. Email me. I'll give you some better stuff. I'm like, ouch.
We gotta be mean on here. All right. Estella Freeman, she always sends us in excellent messages. Excellent is my word of the day. I don't know where that's coming from. Anyhow, Estella says, I am having core values-based conversations with our scheduler when she makes a mistake, doesn't turn in data, blah, blah, blah. And she finds herself continuing to explain the reasons behind like how they do things. And it's not working. She's basically micromanaging. She says, yuck. I think I've been avoiding them and need to part ways. Am I oversharing plus actually causing our scheduler to see no boundaries?
Yeah, here's the thing. Well, gosh, there's so much to unpack. That's a big one.
Yeah.
Stella's making me work today. I was hoping they'd just all be softballs. I could just knock them out of the park. Here we are making me think for a living. I do not like that, Stella. You should know better. Okay. So first and foremost, we've got to make sure the core values are clear. And I don't have her core values, so I can't go over that. But for us, it's have fun, make money, be real, help out. So to all the people listening, if I did a survey and said, what do you think we mean by make money? I'm pretty sure I'd get a consensus. We're not going to get 1,000 different answers, right? Everyone's kind of clear what do you think about be real? People are going to I have different takes, but they're all going to be very similar, right? But if I said something like, do the right thing, well, gosh, what Lindsay thinks is the right thing might be completely different than my right thing. And on down the road, if I said, be positive, like that could mean a lot of different things. So first and foremost, you've got to make sure that your core values are clear. Second of all, you've got to make sure that they actually are a core values fit. So before I start a core values conversation, I'm going to reconnect them with that. So, hey, Lindsay, you are a bright lady. I think, hopefully you feel that we pay you fair, maybe even a little more than fair. But if all you wanted was money, I bet you could go find a job for more of it, right? Working maybe even less work. My understanding is why you're here is you demand, you require having a workspace where you can have fun and make money and be real and help out. Is that the case? And if Lindsay says, no, I'm here for the money. Oh, well, now let's find a place where you can match up what you want, right? Instead, as opposed to having mismatched core values, you're actually at a place that pays well and you love being there, right? You enjoy going to work. So usually that's not going to happen. They're going to give you a yes. Okay. Well, that's really the case, Lindsay. Let's walk through this.
Hey, Clean Nation, Mike Campion here. One of my least favorite things about these podcasts are we found that people love the show and they love the information, but when I talk to you guys in person, stuff doesn't get done. People love the podcast, but they don't take any action. If you'd like to actually implement this and get this done in your world, we have a whole team of people that do exactly that. If you go to growmycleaningcompany.com/talk, you can book a time with either myself personally or one of our teammates to at least help you come up with a plan to actually implement and change your life. So if you want to go from getting these good ideas in your head to getting them in your life, just book a free call with myself or my team, growmycleaningcompany.com/talk. And we can go from this one-to-many format to one-to-one and really get you some results. Excited to talk.
So it's tough without a specific example of what your scheduler's doing. Did she give one little thing that the scheduler's not doing or doing that she doesn't like, Lindsay, that we can use?
Let me double check on that. Not turning in data is one thing she mentioned.
So, and again, I'm going to use my core values because I don't know Stella's, but I'm sure you can do the translation. So Lindsay, when you don't turn in the data, I got to tell you, for me, it's not super fun because I feel like I've got to chase you for it. And I don't know if you think these kinds of conversations are fun, but I'm not loving them. Would you say, and again, I've already got Lindsay to commit that she is her values, not my values. I'm trying to beat into her. She was wanting to have fun, make money, be real, and help out before she came here. She's going to want that while she's here. And when she moves on to her next thing, she's still going to be out there having fun, making money, because those are her values, not my values. We just happen to share them. That's why she was attracted to this position. That's why I was attracted to her. So would you agree, or how do you think not turning your data is fun for you, for the client, for me? She's probably going to go, I don't think it is very fun. Yeah, agreed. I don't think so. What about making money? Do you think you'll make more money by turning in your data or not turning it? Clearly, you're going to get fired. You'll make nothing if you don't do the job. And what do you think about the company? You think the company will make more money? What do you think about our clients? Well, I think we can agree across the board. You not turning in your data we're all going to make less money. So we're not having fun. We're not making money. And be real. When I started this job, I told you you're going to have to turn in your data daily, and you told me you would do that. I took you at your word. You're not doing it. So do you feel like you're being real when you said you would before, and you're not? No, I'm not being real. Got it. Have fun, make money, be real, help out. Do you think it's super helpful that you're not turning in data, or do you think you're not helping? So she's over 4 on the core values. So I can't recall having more than 2 core values based conversation with any employee over any span of time on the hundreds of employees I've had in my career ever. Not one. Maybe it's happened. I don't recall it. Because one of 2 things is going to happen. One, those aren't her core values, and she's going to realize it, and they kind of just wander away. Because Lindsay's going to leave going, oh, I thought that was just a bunch of BS that he said, have fun, make money. I didn't know that was like really how they were going to do the deal here. And those drive me nuts. And I'll just kind of wander away. Or they are her core values, and she sees the inherent logic of, I do want to have fun. And this is not fun to do that. I am a real person. I do keep my word. I do want to make money. And she's going to snap back into her values, not my values. I can make Lindsay follow my values as long as I'm watching and I have a gun or money or some sort of something. But as soon as that gun or money is gone, or I turn my back, Lindsay, Mike, everyone listening will revert back to their own core values. So they typically either snap back if they are their core values, or they wander off when they're not, because like, oh, this is an uncomfortable place to work. I thought they were just talking about this, but apparently this is an actual standard. I'll just go work somewhere else that has standards that match mine or doesn't actually hold me accountable. I'll be a part of that thing. Rarely are they going to stay and keep banging their head against that wall. So if you have a core values based conversation like that, Estella, rarely, if ever, are they going to just keep doing that. And if you feel, and I'll give the last thing, not just for Stella, but for everybody, of the hundreds of employees I've had and dozens, I don't know about hundreds, but certainly dozens I've had to let go, not one ever, we'll call it 100. I don't know if it's more or less, but 0 for 100. Did I let them go and went, dang it, I should have let them go. I should have waited just one more week. Just 2 more weeks. I wish I would have waited. I made a mistake. I'm not sure. 100% of them, I was like, God dang it. I was either like, okay, that was a good time, or I should have done it sooner. And 100% of the ones I knew in my heart at this time, it's over. Like, this isn't it. And that Lindsay and I literally went through that today. Somewhere we were testing out. It's like, yeah, anyway. 100% of the time I knew in my heart day 1, and I had the conversation with them day 11 or day 5. I always wish I would have had it on day 1. And it really stings when the rest of the team comes. Why didn't you let that guy go earlier? Like, God bless America. Like, you think you're doing this secret, like nobody notices that you're making bad leadership decisions. They all notice. And the good ones will come and be like, yeah, I was wondering, because they don't want to gossip or talk crap about an employee. But when they leave, they kind of give you we've seen it for 3 months. What took you so long, Chief? So short answer, if you feel it, because I think she said in her question, am I overreacting? I feel like, yeah, that's a really good indicator that it's not a fit. So sorry for the long answer, but it's such a good question, Estella. I think we've got room for one more. If there's a good live one, let's do that. If there's not, let's stick with the script. Oh, Lindsay's doing her. That means I'm gonna have to work, and it's gonna be a hard one.
I am so excited because finally you guys are just lurking, and someone on chat, Heidi Frame, said,
hey, Heidi.
Yeah, she is new to the group. She says, question, what is better, have teams or just one person cleaning a house?
Ooh, golly. Heidi coming in hot, brand new. Like, that's a solid question, new lady. Welcome to our little party. Lindsay, give Heidi a gold star right on the forehead. She deserves it.
I'll turn that like into a love I gave her.
Okay. Lindsay's looking at me confused. Like, I don't know. This is virtual, Mike. I don't have a star. She's not here. I can't touch. Like, I guess there might be a gold star emoji that, you kids can figure out, but I was thinking physical, like gold star right on the forehead with the thumb, just like a total boss. Sorry, Heidi. I know you're been 10 seconds of this community. You're like, I'm in the wrong place. These people are terrible. All right. But I'll give you a good answer before you leave and discuss. So great question. Some of the things that we teach are non-negotiable, in my opinion. Core values, good pricing structure, picking the right client, getting paid. There's some things that will really, having insurance, following the law, all sorts of these good things, kind of non-negotiable. If you don't do them, your business will go out. Others won't absolutely kill your business, but they make it so freaking hard. Why would you do that? It just makes it way too hard. And then others are the final categories, things that I've got a lot of experience with, and I have some feelings, and I feel one way is better than the other, but I've seen it work both ways, and I can't be like, this is the right answer, it's wrong the other way. My answer to your question, Heidi, is that third category. So I'm going to give you some encouragement, but this isn't one of those things. If you do it wrong, it's going to be a huge weight on your business. It's not going to put you out of business. If you do it right, it's not going to make you millions. It's just something I have a preference on, having a lot of experience. And I'll give you what I would do and why I would do it, and also give you kind of the downside and why the opposing position could be equally effective. So short answer, I would send people out in teams, and I'll tell you why people in going by themselves would be preferable. One, it's easier to schedule just one dude, right? Like, there you go. Two, you probably will get your cleaning times down just a little bit, right? So say I can clean a place in 4 hours. Lindsay and I should take 2 hours. We might take 2 hours and 15 minutes because we're talking, you know everything perfectly. And, I don't know everything she knows and vice versa and blah, 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 blah. Heaven forbid, we might stop and have a 2-minute comment. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be as effective and efficient. That's the good sides for having just one by one. And then also for the lone wolf people, you don't have to have any, and again, I don't have these. If you're running with the core values, you won't have this, but Lindsay doesn't like Susie, and Susie doesn't like Heidi, and Heidi doesn't like Mike, and blah, all around and around we go. And you got to deal with that drama. But that really, if you're running your company with core values based people, there's no one on my team. Like if Jared and Lindsay or Suzanne and me, or there's no two people that I could put in a car for a half a day and then spend time where they'd be like, oh, I don't want to, I'm not going to be, maybe Jared and Jackson. They would complain about it, but love it. They would hold hands and skip, but they pretend. So again, that I think is a different problem with core values, but you could say it also would save on employee drama if you have employee drama. I would argue the number of people on the team is not at the base of that problem. The problem is core values, but I did want to throw that in there. Okay. Now let me give you the reasons I would recommend a team. And there are several. And my team size would always be 2 at a minimum, and then going up as much as you need to keep the shift under about 4 hours, right? So if there's like a 15-hour job, I'm not going to have 2 people working 7.5 hours. I'm going to have like 4 or 5 people. So always start with 2 and then work your way up, just to keep the shift hour around 4 hours, because people tend to get a little drained, or even if it's like a 3-hour job and they go to another hour or 2 job. I don't like a shift physically cleaning more than 4 or 5 hours on any given day. And even at one location, no more than like 3 or 4 hours, because people start losing interest, getting tired, yada, yada. And I understand there are some insane people that can work 8 hours a day cleaning and they do great. They are the exception, not the rule. That's 10% of society. So you don't want to eliminate 90% of your workforce by saying, I only want these unicorns that can physically clean by themselves with no other humans for 8 hours a day. They exist, but come on, hard to find. Okay, so the benefits are many. One is, again, 10% of the people are a lone wolf. Just shut up and leave me alone. I'll clean like a robot for hours on end. 90% need the other humans, right? So turnover will go down typically. And I'm not saying, I know there's some crazy lone wolf people that will stay 10 years working all by themselves. I'm not saying this is the only way. I'm just saying is the overwhelming majority. People will stay longer if they've got someone else to talk with. 2, just for security. And I don't want to be sexist or anything, but if it's on commercial, I sent a lady out by herself, some warehouse at midnight. I'm just not comfortable. Dude either, but anyone, girls, guys, but even, whatever. I'm not comfortable saying someone by themselves. And there's 2 levels of security. I don't want Lindsay outside in a building by herself in the middle of the night. And, Lindsay just made the face she doesn't want to either. And she's a thief. She's going to steal crap. Say, wait, what? Lindsay's not a thief, but God forbid something happened and she needs to steal food to feed her family for bread or something. If there's someone with her, she's going to have a harder time. It's just security for everybody, right? Just for the owner of the building, for the people on site, it's just better security. Second, if Lindsay doesn't show up and she's a team of 1-on-1, I got a problem. If Lindsay doesn't show up and she's a team of 2 or 3, that day, someone going by themselves ain't ideal, but it's certainly possible. So the big 3 things are, it's just easier if someone doesn't show up. You can still have someone go, just, that the rest of the team can typically still do the jobs. 2, there's some security. 3, both for the cleaners and the owner of the building. And then finally, it's much easier to find people that are willing to clean in teams over lone wolves that don't want to talk to anybody. Because again, it's a tough job, and just be like, go out there with no other humans, no other whatever. It's a tough job. So do you think I covered our friend Heidi's answer? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense to me.
Cool. All right. I feel like we're kind of at the end of the time there. Anything else we need to cover, Lindsay, before we call it?
Just one little note. Serena Day, I see your questions in the Facebook chat, and we are going to answer them next week because they're good questions. Unfortunately, we're out of time, but I see
Let's do a cliffhanger. What's the questions? And we'll start with them next week. So people, if you want to hear the question, come check it out next week.
I love it. Okay. Let me scroll back up. All right.
Lindsay's scrolling. If you want to ask a question, we're going to be here every day or every Wednesday, 2:00 Pacific, 5:00 Eastern. And if you want to hear the stream, just if you're on the Facebook or if you're on the podcast, you have to join the Facebook group. It's totally free, but that's where you stream live. If you have a question, Lindsay, or support at growmycleancompany.com. All right, hit us with our cliffhanger question, lady.
All right. Serena says, I have a question about competition. It seems every time I look on Facebook, there's 15 new cleaners. Mm-hmm. So how does she deal with that kind of competition?
That's a good cliffhanger. All right, guys, gals, hopefully that was value. We'll start next Wednesday live with how to deal with 15 new cleaners on Facebook every time you go there. And between now and then, if you need more help, go to growmycleaningcompany.com. Nothing but free resources, everything you need to grow a $1 million cleaning company. We will see you there.
Hey, Cleaning Nation, if you dug the content you just got, we don't do any ads and I don't sell anything on this podcast, but if you would just subscribe, rate, and review, it would be huge and I'd be so appreciative. Not only is it going to help me, but you'll help other owners of cleaning companies across the world work less, make more, and get profitable. So if you appreciate the value we give, again, subscribe, rate, and review. It would mean the world to me. I'd really appreciate it. And we sure appreciate your time and attention.